Hey, in this video I like to talk about quitting your job. And no, I do not mean quitting your job to become self-employed and living your dream life after, but I mean quitting your job to move to a different company. I myself recently went through this. I'm a full-time game developer and I was working for 5 years at GamePoint, which is a well-respected and great company to work for. But for me it was my only experience, so I decided to move to a different company to widen my experience. During my job search I faced quite a few challenges and struggles I didn't really expect it. So that's where this video is for. I want to share you my story and the things I would have done differently. So I hope it will help you if you're also facing struggles by moving to a different company or leaving your current job. So how did it go for me? Well, in short, it was very hectic. It was around November last year that I made the decision like, okay, I'm gonna move away from GamePoint and I want to widen my experience, so I have to find another job somewhere else and doing the job search and all. But it was up until May this year that I actually started applying. That was all because I was too attached to my current job and also actually a bit too anxious about my own capabilities and being afraid if I would be ready enough to move to a new company. It even eventually led me to quit my job without having secured a new job yet. This was mainly just to have spread the word out because it's quite a weight on your shoulders to do the job search while you are currently working, because you're not really able or allowed to talk about it on your workspace. So at one moment when I still felt I was too attached to my work and it was holding me down too much to actually apply to new jobs, I just decided to cut it off and send my resignation letter. Thankfully for me, shortly after I sent my resignation letter, I landed my new job at Paladin Studios, where I'm working for now for just a few months, where I'm having a lot of fun and facing a lot of new challenges. So do I recommend my way? Well, of course not. That's why I will run you through some of my key points I would have done differently if I would have done it over today. The first thing I will do is make a plan. It's very important once you made that switch of like, okay, I'm gonna do a new job search and quit my current job to find another job. It's really important to start and make a plan for yourself. Just put it down on paper or write it down on a document on your phone or on your computer. And the things I would have put on my plan are first, like, what are the companies I would like to apply for? What is the kind of direction I want to go through their open applications and see their requirements, see if it matches what your capabilities are, and just make a quick plan of how you can reach certain goals of the requirements for the open positions you are already really interested in. Then I'm gonna update my CV and my portfolios so I am fully ready to apply in any minute when I want. Then as the last thing on my plan, I will give myself a few soft deadlines, whereof the first is when I want to have my portfolio and CV fully ready to make myself ready to apply again. Then I want to have a soft deadline of range of dates when I really want to start applying to jobs. This can be matching your portfolio deadlining, so you just give yourself a bit more motivation to get it all done. And then as the last soft deadline, I will put a range of dates where I really want to hopefully secure a job. Because out of experience, we often all know that the first few interviews will not go so well and you might not land a job immediately after your first interview. So it's great to set a deadline for yourself where you give yourself a few months where you hopefully want to get the job. And of course, it might not be reachable, but at least gives you a bit more hope and motivations to really get the things done. Still, don't feel too bad if you don't make these deadlines. Those should be just soft deadlines to get yourself started and get yourself moving and really get into this flow of doing the job search and applying to jobs you are really interested in. When you made your plan, there are always some common struggles that will come with it after. And these are some of the struggles I've been through. The first struggle I've been through was when was I sure that I was ready to leave, or when it was the right time for me to leave. It still felt like I wasn't capable enough or my experience wasn't good enough to move on into the positions I was hoping to get through in job applications. And the simple answer to that is you are always ready. You should actually never worry about your own capabilities and just try and reflect on yourself and learn from the feedback you get, maybe during the job interviews you are trying to get into a certain position. But also for me, what eventually helped me in realizing I was good enough was that the main point I wanted to widen my experience was because I got to a point I felt like I wasn't learning enough or not learning as much as I always used to. So after I got that realization, I started to know like, okay, the stuff I already built was actually really good. And to emphasize that on myself, I also was just a whole story of my 5 years at my previous job. Just all the achievements I've gained over the years and all the things I was proud of. And this was also eventually great when I was writing my cover letters to show them off like who am I and what were the things I was responsible for before. So they could see that the things they are searching for, I already have real experience in multiple aspects, but also that I really had a great time and really want to move forward. So for this, my best tip would be to just write for yourself, which you also eventually, if you want to, could use for your cover letter, to just write down a sort of log or backstory or a sort of diary of your experience at your current job, and especially emphasize on the things you done well, like the achievements you did, for example, in the games industry, all the games you've created, all the cool features you've built, all the responsibilities you had. Just write it down for every project you worked on and in every year you worked on those, and also just leave with a good feeling that you left by bringing a lot of value to the company you've been working for. And then the next struggle is, and for me actually the biggest struggle is, how do you combine working while doing a job search? Well, that's really tough. I don't really have the right answer. For me, it was really using my spare time, just using my weekends to go through some open positions, just apply to some, have some templates for myself ready, so I could get myself ready for job applications quite quickly, and also just trying to have some fun during the job applications as well. Try to figure yourself like you're already working there and how that would be, and of course don't go too much into it, so the disappointment will only be greater if you will not work there, but just think about the things that could make a difference to you and will make the experience better if you eventually leave. So this also leads me to another big struggle you will probably get to, is how do you stay motivated at your current job when you are doing a job search? Well, this was also very tough for me in the beginning, but eventually I started to tell myself, like, if I really want to put a big effort into my new job and get there with the right attitude, I should remain the right attitude at my current job also. Like, it's very hard if you get into this mindset of not wanting it all anymore and screw it all maybe, or really detach yourself from your current job because you already have made the decision to move somewhere else. It's gonna be hard if you find a new job to instantly get back into the right attitude and right work mindset actually. So for me, I started to think like, as what kind of person do I want to start at my new job, and just kept that as a motivation for myself to, when I get my new job, that I will still have the learning mindset and basically just enjoy myself and find joy in work as well. So just in short, try to use your job search or your job applications as a motivation to keep your motivation at work. Then the last thing is, how do you prepare for job interviews? Well, this is going to be a whole separate video as well, because there are quite a few details I want to dive into this. So if you're interested in that, I would really suggest you to already subscribe to me and stay tuned for that video, which will come soon. But my main and biggest tip for preparing for interviews is to not over prepare yourself. It's gonna be very hard if you really gonna dive into the books again and really dive into all the things you might not know or you think would be really interested for the job application, that if you get any other question, you might black out. So really trust in your own knowledge you have gained over the years and use that as your valuable asset during the interview. This will also make it very real to the interviewer as well, that you are really interested in them, but also that you are very honest about your own experience and very honest about your own knowledge, and you also can share more about things you are already confident with. Of course, also be open about the things you are not sure about yet or things you want to learn. If they ask you a question you are not sure about, just be honest about it, be transparent about it, and just let your true knowledge speak. As a final bonus tip, I also want to say is to talk with people. One thing I really noticed was that doing a job search and deciding to leave a company if you have been working there for a while already is really tough and a big weight on your shoulder. So talking with people help a lot. I only noticed this after I resigned from my work, when I sent my resignation letter and I told people, then people started to talk to me about it. They shared their own feelings and their own experience and things we had in common or struggles we had in common, which was actually really nice to hear about. But if I knew about those struggles a few months earlier, that other people were also facing it, it would have helped me a lot by just getting it through and just know that I'm not alone in it. So talking to people is really a big tip I can give if you are also facing struggles by leaving your current job. So this was it. If you really find this valuable, I would like you to consider liking and subscribing this post and put up the bell notification for the next videos to come. As you might also understand, this whole job search and stress for leaving my previous job, I put quite a delay on my video creation and content creation for YouTube. So I really hope to slowly get back into it. I have a lot of things prepared as well, which of the tips for job interviews, which will come soon, but also quite a few tutorials I have in mind. So I really hope you are interested in those, and you can already check the few tutorials I have. So if you're really interested in those, I would really like to see you in the next videos to come. Goodbye.